why most people die before 85, and how to avoid these 5 deadly habits after 60. It is a stark reality that a significant majority of individuals do not reach their 85th birthday, and this phenomenon is often exacerbated by habits adopted after the age of 60. Shockingly, a substantial 73% of those who pass away prematurely share a common set of 5 detrimental lifestyle choices. These habits, often so ingrained that they are perceived as normal aspects of aging, can silently shave off 15 to 20 years from a person's lifespan without their conscious awareness. The medical community, while aware of these trends, often attributes them to the inevitable process of aging, overlooking the profound impact of these specific behaviors. However, the flourishing health of centenarians and individuals thriving well into their 90s suggests a different narrative. These individuals are not merely fortunate due to genetics, they are distinguished by their deliberate avoidance of these critical mistakes. This information is not about preordained destiny, but about the active choices you are making in the present moment that will shape your future health and longevity. The aim here is to illuminate the precise factors that differentiate those who experience a robust and fulfilling later life from those who face struggle and premature decline. We will delve into 5 scientifically recognized habits that medical research unequivocally shows can drastically shorten one's life. Habits so ubiquitous that they are frequently mistaken for the natural course of aging. Furthermore, you will be equipped with 3 simple self-assessment tools that can be performed in the comfort of your own home to gauge your personal risk. Crucially, 2 clinically validated solutions demonstrated to yield positive results within a mere 30 days will be presented. And to cap it all off, a surprisingly simple habit alteration that holds the potential to add an impressive 12 years to your life will be unveiled. But the most exciting revelation awaits at the conclusion, the single most potent secret to longevity that is shared by an astonishing 95% of centenarians. This secret is not what you might initially suspect, and its implementation can begin today. If your commitment to cultivating the healthiest and longest life possible is unwavering, I urge you to subscribe and activate the notification bell. This platform is dedicated to providing you with the unvarnished truth about thriving, not merely surviving, after the age of 60. Should this video prove beneficial to you, please share it with those you hold dear, as the insights contained within possess the genuine potential to be life-saving. The pervasive influence of sedentary behavior, often referred to as the silent killer in your living room, poses a significant threat, particularly to individuals over 60. Consider the case of Sandra, a 68-year-old grandmother who exuded vitality and believed she was adhering to a healthy regimen. Her day began with a brisk 30-minute walk, regardless of the weather, and she conscientiously consumed vegetables and vitamins, feeling a sense of pride in her lifestyle. Unbeknownst to Sandra, however, her post-walk routine was inadvertently engaging her in one of the most dangerous habits recognized by science. The hours following her morning exercise were predominantly spent in a seated position. She would dedicate 3 hours to reading the newspaper and tackling crosswords, another 4 hours to watching her favorite television programs, 2 hours to engaging in crafts at her kitchen table, and an additional hour conversing on the phone with friends. By the conclusion of each day, Sandra was sedentary for well over 10 hours. Tragically, her diligent morning walk was insufficient to counteract the cumulative damage of such prolonged inactivity. Her physician was taken aback by the implications of her lifestyle. Recent scientific findings published in the American Journal of Epidemiology underscore a critical concern. Engaging in 8 or more hours of sitting daily escalates the risk of mortality by a staggering 60% for individuals over the age of 60. This alarming statistic elevates prolonged sitting to the same perilous category as smoking, particularly in its impact on senior populations. The question arises, why does this habit disproportionately affect those over 60 compared to younger demographics? The answer lies in the physiological changes that accompany aging. Post-60, an individual's metabolism naturally decelerates by an average of 2% to 3% annually. Simultaneously, circulatory efficiency declines and muscular atrophy accelerates in the absence of regular physical activity. What might be a minor discomfort for a 40-year-old can evolve into a life-threatening condition for a 70-year-old. This phenomenon is colloquially termed the exercise paradox. The disconcerting truth is that even a daily 30 to 60-minute exercise session, as Sandra practiced, does not entirely mitigate the deleterious effects of extended periods of sitting. An illustrative analogy would be smoking a single cigarette and then abstaining from breathing for the subsequent 23 hours. The solitary breath of fresh air would not preserve lung health. To assess your own risk, a critical self-evaluation is advised. In a chair, with your arms crossed over your chest, attempt to stand up 5 times consecutively without employing your hands or any external momentum. If you encountered difficulty or were unable to complete this test, the consequences of your prolonged sitting have already begun to undermine your autonomy and physical independence. Sandra's inability to perform this simple maneuver was a devastating realization. However, the insidious internal repercussions were already accumulating. Extended sitting leads to blood pooling in the lower extremities, a condition that elevates the risk of developing blood clots by an alarming 300%. It also disrupts the body's insulin regulation, thereby accelerating the progression of diabetes. Perhaps most concerning, it reduces blood flow to the brain by up to 20%, a factor that significantly hastens cognitive decline. Fortunately, Sandra's narrative took a turn towards positive transformation. Upon understanding the gravity of her situation, she embraced what is termed the 50-10th rule. For every 50 minutes of sitting, she committed to 10 minutes of movement. She acquired a standing desk converter to facilitate movement during her crossword puzzles and reading sessions. During television viewing, she incorporated simple leg lifts and arm circles. Furthermore, she programmed timers to serve as gentle reminders to move every hour. The results were nothing short of remarkable. Within a mere 3 months, Sandra could effortlessly execute the sit-to-stand test 10 times. Her energy levels surged, and her physician noted significant improvements in her circulation and blood sugar control. Most importantly, Sandra experienced a resurgence of her former self, feeling stronger, more independent, and brimming with confidence. Your actionable steps, commencing today, involve setting a timer to alert you every 50 minutes. Upon its activation, stand up and engage in movement for the subsequent 10 minutes. Simple activities such as marching in place during television programs, performing wall push-ups during commercial breaks, or conducting phone conversations while standing can all contribute. These seemingly minor adjustments, when compounded over time, yield profound and life-saving outcomes. To foster self-awareness and encourage a culture of health, honestly reflect on the number of hours you spend sitting each day and share your honest assessment in the comments section. Recognizing this pattern is the indispensable first step toward enacting meaningful change, and you might be surprised by your own findings. However, the ramifications of excessive sitting pale in comparison to a habit that affects 80% of individuals over 60 every single night, a habit that accelerates their aging process by a factor of 3. Consider Carl, a 72-year-old man who found himself inexplicably feeling older and more fatigued than his 85-year-old neighbor, a man who seemed to possess an inexhaustible supply of energy. Carl took pride in his disciplined routine, adhering to a consistent bedtime and an early wake-up call, yet he inadvertently overlooked a critical detail that was literally siphoning years from his life: his sleep duration. Carl consistently slept only 5 to 6 hours per night, falling prey to the pervasive misconception that older individuals require less sleep. This deeply ingrained misunderstanding is a significant contributor to mortality among millions over the age of 60. The danger lies in the stark reality that seniors require the same amount of sleep as younger adults, between 7 and 9 hours per night. Furthermore, after the age of 60, sleep assumes an even more critical role as the body's innate repair mechanisms begin to decelerate. During the restorative stages of deep sleep, the brain undertakes a vital process of clearing out toxic proteins implicated in the development of Alzheimer's disease. The immune system is rejuvenated, and the cardiovascular system undergoes essential repairs to counteract the daily stressors it has endured. When Carl's sleep was limited to 5 or 6 hours, his body was fundamentally incapable of completing these essential restorative processes. Research originating from Harvard Medical School unequivocally demonstrates that seniors who consistently obtain less than 7 hours of sleep face a 50% elevated risk of developing heart disease, a 3-fold increase in their likelihood of experiencing a stroke, and a 3-fold acceleration in cognitive aging compared to their counterparts who achieve adequate sleep. To gauge your personal sleep deficit, a straightforward home test is recommended. Do you find yourself experiencing an energy slump, a distinct crash between 2:00 p.m. and 4:00 p.m. on most days? If your answer is affirmative, it is highly probable that you are not obtaining sufficient quality sleep, even if you subjectively believe you are sleeping adequately. This persistent afternoon energy deficit is a desperate plea from your body for the restorative sleep it is being denied. However, the complexity of sleep for seniors extends beyond mere duration. Sleep quality is equally, if not more, paramount. Carl discovered that he was waking up 6 to 8 times per night, often without retaining any memory of these disturbances. Such fragmented sleep profoundly impedes the attainment of the deep sleep stages essential for genuine rejuvenation. Indeed, broken sleep can be more detrimental to one's health than a consistently shorter sleep duration. Many seniors, mirroring Carl's experience, find themselves ensnared in the medication trap. This often begins with the use of over-the-counter sleep aids, which can foster a cycle of dependency and, paradoxically, degrade sleep architecture over time. These medications actively suppress the very deep sleep stages that are most crucial for health, thereby perpetuating a vicious cycle of insufficient sleep and escalating reliance on medication. Carl's journey towards improved sleep commenced with the adoption of the 3-2-1 rule, a strategy specifically tailored for senior individuals. This rule advocates for abstaining from large meals 3 hours before bedtime, limiting fluid intake 2 hours before bed, and ceasing all screen exposure 1 hour prior to sleep. However, the true breakthrough came with the creation of what is termed a worry window. This involves dedicating 15 minutes each evening to systematically jotting down any concerns related to the following day, followed by the physical act of putting the written worries away, thereby symbolically releasing them. Carl also meticulously optimized his bedroom environment, maintaining a temperature between 65° and 68°, a critical factor for seniors whose thermoregulation becomes less efficient with age. He invested in blackout curtains, recognizing that even minimal light exposure can disrupt senior sleep cycles far more significantly than in younger individuals. The transformation was profound. Within 6 weeks, Carl was consistently achieving 7 to 8 hours of high-quality sleep. His debilitating afternoon energy crashes vanished, his cognitive acuity sharpened, and his physician expressed astonishment at the improvements in his blood pressure and blood sugar levels. Most significantly, Carl felt as though he had reclaimed his life. Several hidden sleep disruptors uniquely affect seniors, including medications that interfere with sleep cycles, challenges with temperature regulation, increased urinary frequency, and anxieties related to health or financial security. Addressing these factors systematically can lead to a dramatic enhancement in sleep quality. To further engage the community and share solutions, consider commenting on your biggest sleep challenge below. Your experience might provide valuable insight for someone else seeking their own solution. While sleep is a cornerstone of longevity, the subsequent habit is insidiously poisoning millions over the age of 60, and its effects can become irreversible if not addressed promptly. The passing of Rita's beloved husband of 40 years at the age of 65 marked not only a period of profound grief, but, unbeknownst to her, the commencement of the most dangerous phase of her life. The danger stemmed not solely from sorrow, though that was overwhelming, but from the insidious changes that followed. Gradually and imperceptibly, Rita began to withdraw from her social sphere. This withdrawal began innocently. She declined dinner invitations, finding the prospect of cooking for one unappealing. She ceased attending her book club, deeming the journey too arduous. She stopped initiating phone calls to friends, reluctant to burden them with her sadness. Within a mere 6 months, Rita's world had contracted to the confines of her home, the grocery store, and her regular medical appointments. Rita deluded herself into believing she was managing her situation effectively, occupying her time with puzzles, gardening, and reading. However, she failed to grasp a crucial distinction. Occupying oneself is not synonymous with maintaining meaningful connections. The divergence between these two states can, quite literally, be a matter of life and death. The scientific literature concerning the detrimental effects of loneliness and social isolation on health is nothing short of staggering. Dr. Julian Halt-Ladd's seminal study revealed that chronic loneliness exerts a health impact equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes daily. For individuals in their senior years, social isolation is associated with a 50% increased risk of premature death, a 64% higher risk of developing dementia, and a 29% greater likelihood of experiencing heart disease. But what renders loneliness so exceptionally perilous? When an individual experiences chronic loneliness, their body interprets this state as a genuine threat, akin to physical danger. This perception triggers a cascade of chronic inflammation throughout the body, compromises the immune system's efficacy, and elevates stress hormone levels to toxic thresholds. The brain, under these relentless assaults, begins to deteriorate from within. To assess your own level of social connection, a critical self-administered test is proposed. Take a moment to count the number of meaningful conversations, not mere pleasantries, but genuine exchanges fostering connection that you engage in during a typical week. If this number falls below 5, you are navigating in the danger zone. If it is fewer than 2, you are, regrettably, in a state of crisis. Seniors are particularly vulnerable to unique triggers of isolation that often go unacknowledged by younger generations. Mobility limitations can render social activities challenging. Friends and family members may pass away or relocate. Adult children often lead busy lives in distant cities, and physical impairments can make independent travel difficult. Even technological barriers can effectively sever seniors from contemporary forms of social engagement. Rita eventually came to understand the critical distinction between solitude and loneliness. Solitude, the deliberate choice to be alone, can be a restorative and healthy experience. Loneliness, conversely, the feeling of disconnection, even when in the company of others, is inherently toxic. The crucial elements are the presence of choice and the sustained capacity to connect when the desire arises. Rita's transformative journey began with the implementation of what is termed the One New Person Per Month challenge. This initiative did not involve romantic pursuits, but rather a focused effort to establish one new, meaningful connection each month. She commenced by volunteering at a literacy center, dedicating her time to teaching adults to read. She joined a senior hiking group, fostering camaraderie and shared physical activity. She also embraced a role as a mentor to young mothers at her local church. However, the most significant breakthrough occurred when Rita actively pursued intergenerational connections. She began providing childcare for her neighbors' grandchildren and became involved in a community garden where she collaborated with individuals of all ages. In these interactions, she discovered that sharing her accumulated wisdom and life experiences with younger generations imbued her with a profound sense of purpose. Technology, once a potential barrier, transformed into an invaluable ally. She mastered video calls to connect with her grandchildren residing across the country, joined online communities specifically designed for widows, and utilized neighborhood applications to foster local connections with individuals who shared her interests. 2 years hence, Rita's life is characterized by an abundance of fulfilling activities. Her calendar is perpetually filled with meaningful engagements, supplements, and her phone rings incessantly with calls from friends checking in. Her physician has expressed considerable admiration for the improvements observed in her blood pressure, sleep quality, and cognitive function. Most importantly, Rita feels a deep sense of being needed, valued, and intrinsically connected to the world around her. The scientific consensus is unequivocal. Humans are fundamentally wired for connection. When robust social bonds are maintained after the age of 60, individuals tend to live longer, think more clearly, and experience a greater degree of joy. Conversely, social isolation precipitates a shorter lifespan and a heightened experience of suffering. To encourage the sharing of strategies and foster a supportive community, share one method you employ to maintain connections with others in the comments section below. Your unique approach might provide precisely the guidance someone else requires. Social connection possesses a remarkable capacity to heal both the body and the spirit. However, the nutritional choices you make on a daily basis may be inadvertently negating all the positive efforts you are undertaking. At the age of 74, David firmly believed that his daily breakfast, consisting of whole wheat toast with jam and a generous glass of orange juice, represented the epitome of healthy eating. His physician had, decades prior, advised him to consume whole grains and ensure adequate vitamin C intake, advice David had faithfully followed ever since. What David remained unaware of, however, was that this seemingly healthy breakfast was initiating a firestorm of inflammation within his body, thereby accelerating his aging process and predisposing him to a cascade of age-related diseases. David's narrative serves as a poignant illustration of millions of seniors who are unwittingly consuming substances they perceive as beneficial, yet which are, in fact, detrimental. The nutritional guidance that was prevalent during previous generations is not only outdated, but poses a significant danger to individuals over the age of 60. Every morning, David's digestive system was subjected to a barrage of negative physiological responses. The whole wheat toast, far from being a benign carbohydrate source, was causing his blood sugar levels to spike to an extent comparable to consuming a candy bar. The orange juice, despite its claims of being 100% natural, delivered a substantial load of fructose, a sugar that his 74-year-old liver was no longer equipped to process with optimal efficiency. This daily onslaught of sugar triggered a pervasive state of chronic inflammation throughout his entire system. Post the age of 60, the human body exhibits a considerably heightened sensitivity to blood sugar fluctuations. The metabolic rate declines, insulin sensitivity diminishes, and the body's capacity to effectively manage carbohydrate intake deteriorates significantly. What might have been a harmless dietary choice at age 40 can become a profoundly inflammatory and destructive factor by age 70. David was also diligently adhering to other seemingly healthy dietary recommendations that were, in reality, insidiously undermining his health. He consumed low-fat yogurt, which was often laden with hidden sugars. He employed vegetable oils in his cooking, which are rich in omega-6 fatty acids known to promote inflammation. He frequently snacked on whole grain crackers, a habit that contributed to ongoing blood sugar spikes throughout the day. The telltale signs of chronic inflammation were manifesting in various ways, yet David consistently dismissed them as an inevitable consequence of aging. He experienced persistent joint pain, battled bouts of brain fog most afternoons, and felt perpetually fatigued even after a full night's sleep. Minor cuts and bruises took an inordinately long time to heal, and his mood was often characterized by irritability and anxiety. David failed to recognize that chronic inflammation is the fundamental underlying cause of nearly every age-related disease, including heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, arthritis, and even a significant proportion of cancers. The very foods he believed were safeguarding his health were, in fact, accelerating his trajectory toward these debilitating conditions. The definitive wake-up call arrived during David's annual physical, when his physician observed alarming markers of inflammation in his blood work. These results indicated that his biological age was a staggering 15 years greater than his chronological age. His C-reactive protein levels were dangerously elevated, and his HbA1c readings pointed towards pre-diabetic blood sugar patterns. David's path to recovery began with a critical realization. Seniors necessitate a fundamentally different nutritional strategy compared to younger individuals. He embraced what is termed the senior-specific Mediterranean approach, a dietary paradigm centered on anti-inflammatory foods that work in harmony with, rather than against, an aging metabolism. David replaced his customary morning toast and juice with a breakfast of eggs cooked in olive oil, accompanied by spinach and avocado. The protein content of the eggs helped stabilize his blood sugar levels, while the healthy fats present in the olive oil and avocado actively combated inflammation. The vegetables provided essential nutrients without the detrimental sugar surge. Within days of this dietary shift, his persistent afternoon brain fog began to dissipate. He learned to strategically time his meals to optimize his metabolism, consuming his largest meal earlier in the day when insulin sensitivity is at its peak, and keeping his evening meal light and consumed well before bedtime. He discovered the efficacy of powerful anti-inflammatory spice combinations, such as turmeric paired with black pepper and ginger with cinnamon, which could be effortlessly incorporated into a wide variety of dishes. These straightforward food substitutions yielded revolutionary improvements in his health. He transitioned to Greek yogurt, which naturally contains less sugar than its low-fat counterparts, and favored olive oil and coconut oil for cooking over conventional vegetable oils. Berries became his preferred fruit source over juices, and nuts replaced crackers as his go-to snack. Sweet potatoes were substituted for regular potatoes in his meals. Furthermore, David developed a discerning approach to supplements, recognizing the pitfalls of the market. While a plethora of anti-inflammatory supplements are available, many are poorly absorbed or simply ineffective for seniors. He focused his attention on high-quality omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, and magnesium, the three supplements with the most robust scientific evidence supporting their benefits for senior health. The results of these dietary and supplemental adjustments were nothing short of remarkable. Within 3 months, David's joint pain diminished by an astonishing 80%. His energy levels experienced a significant and sustained increase. His sleep quality improved dramatically, and his mood stabilized. Most impressively, follow-up blood work revealed that his inflammatory markers had decreased to levels typically observed in individuals 20 years his junior. David's experience underscores a profound truth. It is never too late to reverse the damage caused by inflammation. The body's innate capacity for self-healing, when provided with the appropriate resources, is truly extraordinary, even in one's 70s and 80s. To foster communal learning and identify potential dietary pitfalls, consider sharing in the comments section one food you consume daily that you now suspect might be contributing to inflammation. Your revelation might surprise you and others. Optimizing your diet can profoundly reduce inflammation and add years to your life. However, the final habit to be discussed may be the most perilous of all, as it has the capacity to exacerbate every other existing health challenge you face. Nancy, at 69 years of age, prided herself on her meticulous nature and her penchant for planning for every conceivable eventuality. She developed contingency plans for her contingency plans. She meticulously researched every potential health scare, prepared diligently for every conceivable financial disaster, and dedicated hours each day to contemplating a myriad of what-if scenarios. Nancy firmly believed that her persistent worrying was instrumental in ensuring the safety and preparedness of her family, a belief that was profoundly challenged during her annual physical examination, which delivered news that irrevocably altered her perspective. Her physician, examining her test results with evident concern, stated, "Nancy, your cortisol levels are alarmingly high. Your blood pressure is dangerously elevated. Your immune markers indicate chronic stress. If we do not address this issue with immediate urgency, you are at significant risk of developing heart disease, stroke, or a more dire outcome within the next few years." Nancy was utterly bewildered. She did not perceive her life as being particularly stressful. She was retired, financially secure, and surrounded by a loving family. How, then, could she be experiencing such profound levels of stress? However, Nancy's encounter that day illuminated a critical truth. The most insidious forms of stress are not always the overtly apparent ones. It is the chronic, low-grade anxiety that accumulates over decades, gradually transforming into a silent and devastating killer. Individuals over the age of 60 often grapple with what is termed the senior stress paradox. While they possess a wealth of life experience and wisdom, they also carry the accumulated burden of decades of stress. They have navigated through numerous losses, disappointments, and traumatic events. Their body's stress response system, which functioned efficiently during their younger years, now struggles to effectively disengage. Nancy's stress manifested within 4 distinct categories that disproportionately afflict seniors. The first category was future-focused anxiety, characterized by incessant worry about her own health, her husband's well-being, their financial security, and the potential of becoming a burden to their children. The second category was past-focused stress, encompassing regret over past decisions, lingering resentment about missed opportunities, and guilt stemming from fractured relationships. The third category was caregiver stress. Nancy found herself actively involved in caring for her 94-year-old mother while simultaneously worrying about the challenges faced by her own adult children. She experienced guilt when she was unable to provide assistance and exhaustion when she was present, feeling trapped in a demanding middle ground. The fourth category was loss-related stress. This encompassed not only the grief associated with the passing of loved ones, but also the profound sense of loss related to her diminishing independence, declining physical capabilities, and the erosion of her sense of purpose. The profound danger of stress after the age of 60 lies in the diminished capacity of the body to recover from stressful episodes as it ages. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, remains elevated for longer durations, thereby inflicting greater cellular damage. Chronic stress accelerates the aging process at a cellular level, compromises immune function, and intensifies inflammation throughout the body. The resulting cascade of physiological disruptions is devastating. Chronic stress interferes with sleep patterns, which in turn exacerbates the body's stress response. It can trigger emotional eating, leading to increased inflammation. It can contribute to social withdrawal, thereby amplifying feelings of loneliness. In essence, it creates a perfect storm where all the previously discussed deadly habits converge and amplify one another. Nancy's transformation commenced with her gaining an understanding of the crucial distinction between what she could exert control over and what she could merely influence. She meticulously compiled 2 distinct lists, one detailing elements completely within her sphere of control, such as her daily habits, her responses to various situations, and her personal self-care practices, and another detailing elements she could influence but not definitively control, including the choices of her family members, the ultimate outcomes of her health, and future unforeseen events. She diligently practiced senior adapted mindfulness techniques designed to work synergistically with an aging brain rather than against it. Rather than striving for complete mental emptiness, she cultivated a practice of loving awareness, which involved acknowledging her worries with compassion while consciously choosing not to perpetuate them through endless mental rehashing. The pivotal breakthrough in Nancy's journey occurred when she adopted what is termed the legacy perspective. Instead of allowing herself to be consumed by the question, "What if something terrible happens?" she began to reframe her thinking with the question, "How do I wish to be remembered?" This fundamental shift in perspective propelled her from a mindset rooted in fear to one driven by purpose. Nancy joined a senior stress-sharing group where she discovered the profound solace of realizing she was not alone in her anxieties. Articulating her fears to others who genuinely understood their weight significantly diminished their power over her. She recognized that her relentless planning was, in fact, an unconscious avoidance of engaging fully with the present moment. She actively implemented physical stress reduction techniques specifically tailored for seniors, including gentle yoga, mindful walking, meditation, therapeutic gardening, and deep breathing exercises that could be readily performed in virtually any setting. She came to understand that her body required a physical outlet for stress release, not merely a mental one. Most importantly, Nancy developed the crucial ability to recognize the warning signs that indicate when stress has escalated to a dangerous level. These signs included persistent insomnia, a marked loss of appetite, social withdrawal, an inability to derive pleasure from activities she once cherished, and the manifestation of physical symptoms such as chest pain or severe headaches. The transformation she experienced was nothing short of profound. Nancy's elevated cortisol levels normalized within a 6-month period. Her blood pressure gradually decreased to within healthy ranges. Her sleep patterns improved significantly. Most importantly, Nancy cultivated the capacity to coexist with uncertainty without being consumed by it. Her daily routine shifted dramatically, from dedicating hours to worry to actively engaging in meaningful and fulfilling activities. To foster mutual support and understanding, please share in the comments section your primary source of stress in these current times. Often, the mere act of articulating our stressors can diminish their hold over us. Now that you are cognizant of the 5 detrimental habits that are surreptitiously diminishing the lifespans of countless individuals, allow me to illustrate the transformative potential that arises when one decisively breaks free from all of them. 2 years have elapsed since Sandra, Carl, Rita, David, and Nancy first embarked on their journeys of understanding and overcoming these pervasive deadly habits. Let me provide you with an update on their current well-being, as their remarkable transformations offer a vivid testament to what is achievable when individuals take proactive control of their own longevity. Sandra, now 70 years old, has recently returned from leading a group of her senior peers on an invigorating hiking expedition through the majestic Rocky Mountains. The very woman who, just 2 years prior, struggled to rise from a chair without assistance is now conquering mountains and inspiring others to rediscover their own physical resilience. Her energy levels are demonstrably higher than they were in her 50s. Carl, at 74 years of age, now enjoys a full 8 hours of restorative sleep each night, awakening each morning feeling refreshed and mentally sharp. His physician reports that his cognitive function tests indicate improvement rather than the decline typically anticipated at his age. Carl humorously remarks that he feels more intelligent now than he did a decade ago. Rita, now 67, maintains such an active and fulfilling social calendar that she often needs to schedule periods of downtime. She has become a revered mentor to dozens of younger individuals, imparting invaluable life skills and sharing her accumulated wisdom. Her profound sense of purpose and unwavering connection has imbued her with a vitality that radiates to everyone she encounters. David, now 76, has successfully weaned himself off 3 of the medications he was taking just 2 years ago. His inflammatory markers are indicative of a healthy 50-year-old individual. His energy remains consistently robust throughout the day, his mind is clear, and his joint pain has virtually vanished. He confidently states that he feels 20 years younger. Nancy, at 71 years of age, has undergone a profound metamorphosis, transforming from a chronic worrier into a radiant beacon of peaceful wisdom within her community. She now leads stress reduction workshops specifically designed for seniors and derives immense joy from assisting others in liberating themselves from the anxiety that once held them captive. Her blood pressure is consistently within optimal ranges, and she exudes an aura of calm confidence. What is truly remarkable about their collective stories is the interconnectedness of their progress. Addressing one habit invariably facilitated improvements in the others. When Sandra began to incorporate more movement into her day, her sleep quality naturally improved. As Carl's sleep quality enhanced, his stress levels experienced a significant reduction. When Rita cultivated deeper social connections, her motivation to maintain a healthy diet increased. As David successfully reduced inflammation within his body, his energy reserves for physical activity were replenished. And when Nancy effectively managed her stress, every other facet of her health experienced a positive upswing. The cumulative effect of breaking free from these detrimental habits is nothing short of extraordinary. Research conducted by Harvard's esteemed Study of Adult Development conclusively demonstrates that individuals who actively avoid these 5 deadly habits live, on average, an additional 12 to 15 years compared to those who do not. More importantly, they experience these extended years with an unparalleled degree of vitality, independence, and profound joy. The positive ripple effect of their transformations extends far beyond their individual lives. Their families no longer live with constant worry about their well-being. Their grandchildren are blessed with energetic, engaged grandparents who participate fully in every aspect of their lives. Their communities benefit immensely from their accumulated wisdom, boundless energy, and valuable contributions. Your own transformation can commence immediately. Within the first week, you will likely notice a discernible increase in your energy levels as a direct result of implementing improved movement and sleep habits. By the end of the first month, a reduction in inflammation will begin to manifest, and your efforts to rebuild social connections will start yielding tangible results. Within 6 months, the compounded positive effects will be undeniably apparent. You will not only look younger, but will also feel stronger and think more clearly than you have in many years. The most powerful and liberating realization derived from the stories of all 5 individuals is this: it is genuinely never too late to initiate positive change. Regardless of whether you are 60 or 90 years old, your body possesses an extraordinary capacity for healing and regeneration when you diligently remove the factors that are causing harm and actively introduce those that promote thriving. If this video has illuminated the habits that may be insidiously stealing precious years from your life, please express your appreciation by hitting the like button immediately. This action signifies your desire for more life-changing information of this caliber. Furthermore, I implore you to share this video with someone you care about. These 5 deadly habits are silently curtailing the lives of millions. However, by working together, we possess the collective power to affect significant change. Ensure you subscribe and activate the notification bell to stay informed. Before you depart, please take a moment to share in the comments section which of these 5 deadly habits resonated most profoundly with you. And crucially, commit to one small, actionable change you will implement today. I personally read every single comment, and your shared experience might be precisely the encouragement someone else needs to hear to potentially save their own life. Remember this fundamental truth: you have more vibrant and healthy years ahead of you than you have left behind.